Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is not something women are going to volunteer, and it's certainly not something society wants men to understand. There's a pattern that plays out every single day in relationships, dating, and even casual encounters. Most men are blind to it. They keep guessing, hoping, thinking they just need to be themselves or wait for the right moment. But here's the raw truth. Attraction, sexual desire, and connection are heavily influenced by psychology, not chance. And when you understand this, you stop chasing and start creating instant chemistry that pulls her toward you almost unconsciously. Let me be blunt. Women are wired to respond to cues they don't even realize. A glance, a confident posture, the subtle way you touch a conversation. These are not small details. They are signals that tell her brain whether she's safe, intrigued, and even aroused. And most men, they mess it up before they even realize the game has started. The frustration you feel when she says she just wants to be friends or not tonight often isn't about you. It's about the signals you're sending, consciously or not. I know what you're thinking. So how do I get it right? How do I make her desire me on the same day I meet her? The answer is hidden in dark female psychology, the side most men never see because they've been taught to follow rules that don't apply. They're polite, careful, and slow, and that kills attraction before it can even begin. Attraction isn't about being good. It's about creating tension, curiosity, and emotional engagement that she can't resist. This isn't manipulation. It's understanding human behavior on a level that most men never reach. Think of it as learning a language she's already speaking, but you've been deaf to until now. Once you understand it, you start to notice patterns immediately. How her eyes follow you across the room, how her voice changes when she's interested, the way she laughs at your jokes differently than she does with others. These are all signals, and if you respond correctly, you escalate the interaction naturally without force, without neediness, without desperation. Here's the harsh truth. And this is crucial. Most men overthink. They stall, over-explain, and second-guess themselves. She feels it. She senses hesitation, confusion, and a lack of dominance, and instantly loses interest. Desire isn't built through effort. It's built through tension, mystery, and confident emotional engagement. Once you grasp that, everything changes. You start to see the difference between her genuine curiosity about you and the polite friend mask she wears to protect herself. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know the exact mindset and behavior that triggers immediate attraction in ways most men think are impossible. And if you apply this correctly, she won't just be interested, she'll be drawn to you almost magnetically before she even realizes why. And there's one critical truth at the end that flips everything most men believe about female desire completely on its head. Before we go further, make sure you hit subscribe and like this video. Every insight I reveal today is designed to give you power in understanding women, dating, and sexual attraction. Power most men are completely blind to. You don't want to miss a single second. Let's cut through the fluff and get to the part most men never understand. Women are highly reactive to emotional energy, not logic. You could be the most handsome guy in the room, and if your energy is weak, uncertain, or desperate, she won't feel anything. She won't even see your looks. Attraction isn't a checklist of traits. It's a chemistry that starts in her subconscious. And the same-day connection, that only happens when you trigger her emotions in the right way, fast. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Curiosity is a drug. Women are drawn to men who create intrigue because the brain loves mystery. It craves it. When you reveal too much too soon, you kill that curiosity. That's why so many men fail. They think showing kindness, openness, or being nice will win her. It won't. Not if you've skipped the emotional build-up. You need to be a puzzle she wants to solve, not a book she can read in one glance. Second, tension is attraction. Emotional tension, not awkwardness or pressure. When you speak to her in a way that is playful, teasing, or even slightly challenging, you spark a reaction that she can't ignore. Her brain releases dopamine. Her body starts associating you with excitement. And here's a psychological secret. Women often confuse excitement with desire. If you can create that emotional arousal, desire is inevitable. Now, let's talk about confidence because this is where men crumble. Confidence isn't just standing tall or talking smoothly. It's a calm, grounded energy that tells her you're in control of yourself and your life. Women can sense it instantly. You don't have to yell it or prove it. Your energy broadcasts it. This is why some men, average-looking or even socially awkward, can trigger intense attraction while a perfect guy sits ignored. She doesn't care about perfection. She responds to control, certainty, and presence. And presence is critical. You must be fully engaged in the interaction. No phone checks, no anxious overthinking, no trying to anticipate her every reaction. Just fully you. Women feel authenticity on a deep level. When you combine presence with curiosity, tension, and emotional energy, you create what psychologists call instant sexual chemistry. This isn't about manipulation, it's about alignment with the natural forces of human attraction. Here's the part most men overlook. Timing matters. If you try to escalate too early, you trigger resistance. Too late, and she loses interest. Reading her micro-signals is everything. The way she leans in, touches her hair, smiles, or mirrors your body language. Each tiny gesture tells you whether to advance or pull back, whether she's ready to move from interest to desire. Ignoring these cues is why men stay stuck in the friend zone, even when she's secretly curious. By mastering these subtle psychological triggers, you don't just increase your chances, you almost guarantee her desire that same day. And this is only the beginning. What comes next is even more powerful. The invisible signals that make her see you as irresistible, the ones most men never notice. Once you understand and apply them, she won't just be interested. She'll be drawn in ways that feel completely natural, almost inevitable. Now, let's talk about the behavioral triggers that actually make her desire you. The ones most men never notice because they're too busy trying to impress. The truth is, attraction is not earned through compliments, gifts, or over-explaining yourself. It's activated through a combination of subtle actions, timing, and emotional influence. When done right, she feels drawn to you before she even consciously realizes why. The first trigger is controlled unpredictability. Most men act in predictable ways, saying the same things, doing the same moves, and expecting different results. Women sense this and get bored. Unpredictability doesn't mean playing games. It means creating moments where she's curious about what you'll do next. A slight tease, a pause in conversation, an unexpected question that challenges her thinking. All of these create an emotional spark that she can't resist. Her brain interprets unpredictability as confidence and intrigue. The second trigger is selective attention. Women crave validation, but they also crave tension. If you respond to everything she does or says, you remove the challenge. Instead, give attention deliberately. Smile, lean in, laugh at the right moments, but stay detached at others. This pushes her mind into overdrive, trying to figure out your intentions. That tension alone can create desire faster than anything else. She begins associating you with excitement, emotional arousal, and mystery, all subconscious signals of sexual attraction. The third trigger is physical subtlety. Most men either ignore touch or overdo it in ways that scare her. The correct approach is almost imperceptible. A touch on the shoulder, brushing her hand lightly, or a playful push. These micro-gestures bypass logic and speak directly to her subconscious. Her brain registers closeness, comfort, and dominance in a way words cannot. Done right, it accelerates the emotional and sexual chemistry exponentially. Next, we have the energy alignment. Women are highly sensitive to energy. If your mood is too heavy, insecure, or needy, she recoils. If your energy is grounded, confident, and playful, she's drawn in without even realizing it. Think of it like a magnet. Subtle energy shifts can pull her closer than anything you could ever say. And when your energy triggers emotional excitement, her desire grows naturally, almost uncontrollably. The last, most overlooked trigger is escalation pacing. Men either rush or stall. The key is reading her signals. Does she mirror your gestures, laugh at your subtle provocations, or maintain strong eye contact? If yes, you escalate. If she pulls back, You pause, then gently re-engage. This rhythm creates anticipation, which fuels desire far more powerfully than force or persuasion ever could. When you combine unpredictability, selective attention, subtle touch, energy alignment, and precise pacing, you create an emotional storm that pulls her toward you naturally. She starts seeing you as exciting, confident, and irresistible, the combination that triggers sexual desire faster than anything else. Most men ignore these steps, which is why they remain stuck wondering why women reject them even when they try hard. The real secret? Women respond to emotional mastery, not words. Words are just decoration. Actions, energy, timing, they are the engine of attraction. And once you understand how to activate these triggers correctly, she won't just be curious about you, she'll be actively desiring you, sometimes the same day you meet. Now, we enter territory most men are completely blind to, the subconscious drives that govern her sexual desire. Women don't operate purely on logic. Every choice she makes, every hesitation, every "I'm not sure" is filtered through instincts shaped over millions of years. And when you understand these instincts, you can trigger desire almost automatically. Most men fail here because they try to reason with her instead of reading her biology and psychology. Let's start with the primal pull of confidence and dominance. Women are wired to subconsciously assess whether a man can protect, provide, and excite them. This isn't about being a brute or controlling. It's about demonstrating stability, emotional strength, and decisiveness. Even subtle signs of these traits, your posture, calm tone, or the way you navigate social spaces, send signals to her subconscious. When she senses these traits, her attraction spikes. It's instinctual, and it can happen almost instantly. Next is emotional stimulation. Women are wired to respond to high-value emotional experiences. Excitement, curiosity, even mild tension, these all trigger hormonal reactions that increase desire. When you create situations where she feels alive, engaged, and emotionally charged around you, her brain associates those feelings with you. That's why teasing, playful challenge, and unpredictable energy work so well. Her brain equates you with excitement, and desire becomes a natural byproduct. There's also the principle of scarcity and challenge. Women are instinctively attracted to men who are not easily available, men who hold standards and don't bend to pressure. This isn't arrogance. It's self-respect. When you demonstrate that your time, attention, and energy are valuable, she unconsciously perceives you as higher status, and sexual desire intensifies. Men who are always chasing, agreeing, and accommodating lose this effect entirely. Another hidden factor is emotional contrast. Women are drawn to men who create emotional highs and lows in a safe, playful way. This could be through banter, teasing, or even confident disagreement. Her brain interprets these emotional fluctuations as intensity, and desire grows rapidly. Think of it like a roller coaster. Once she's riding it, she can't resist the thrill of being close to you. Finally, understand that women crave validation, but the right kind. Not constant compliments, not overt flattery, but acknowledgement of her uniqueness, her humor, her intelligence, delivered with your calm confidence. This creates emotional intimacy, which accelerates sexual desire. She feels seen without feeling pursued or trapped, and that's a perfect storm for same-day connection. When you combine these elements, confidence, emotional stimulation, scarcity, emotional contrast, and intelligent validation, you trigger patterns in her brain she has almost no control over. Desire becomes automatic, instinctive, and magnetic. This is why some men can create immediate chemistry, while others try desperately and fail repeatedly. What most men never grasp is that desire is subconscious. You don't talk women into it. You trigger it through behavior, energy, and emotional mastery. And once you understand this hidden architecture of female desire, you stop guessing and start creating attraction that feels unstoppable. Now let's get precise. Desire isn't something you talk into existence. It's something you ignite with the right mix of words, gestures, and timing. The men who fail think a clever line or a compliment will do the trick. It won't. Sexual attraction is triggered in layers, and your conversation is your primary tool for activating her subconscious. Done correctly, it can make her desire you within hours of meeting. First, the power of teasing. Teasing is not mocking. It's a subtle form of tension that keeps her mentally engaged. When you lightly challenge her ideas, playfully call her out, or joke in a way that makes her think, her brain releases dopamine. This is the same chemical that creates excitement and craving. She starts paying attention, leaning in, laughing differently, testing boundaries. Every successful tease subtly escalates her emotional investment. Next, strategic vulnerability. Most men avoid showing any softness because they think it diminishes masculinity. The truth is the opposite. Carefully placed vulnerability creates emotional contrast. Sharing a brief, relatable story of struggle or uncertainty without apologizing or over-explaining makes you human while highlighting your confidence. She begins to feel connected to you on a deeper level, which accelerates sexual chemistry. Micro-actions are equally important. Leaning slightly closer, matching her gestures, mirroring her tone. These subtle behaviors bypass logic and communicate compatibility on a primal level. Even the way you stand, pause, or use your hands communicates dominance, confidence, and presence. Women are wired to pick up these signals unconsciously. Mastering them is like having a conversation with her subconscious. Then there's escalation pacing. Attraction is about rhythm, not speed. Gauge her responses. If she mirrors you, laughs at your playful provocations, or maintains eye contact, you escalate. If she pulls back, you pause, smile, and re-engage later. This ebb and flow creates anticipation and emotional tension, which fuels sexual desire far more effectively than pressure or persistence ever could. Finally, the power of projection. Women respond to the way you make them feel, not what you say. Project confidence, calmness, and controlled energy in every word and gesture. Speak as if you expect desire to happen naturally, not as if you're hoping for it. When you project this certainty, it bypasses her conscious skepticism and triggers a deep instinctual response. She feels drawn, intrigued, and most importantly, safe to explore her attraction to you. Combine teasing, vulnerability, micro-actions, rhythm, and projection, and you create a magnetic pull that is difficult to resist. She goes from curious to captivated, from polite interest to physical desire, sometimes within the same interaction. This is where most men fail. They skip layers, overthink, or misread signals. But once you internalize this process, attraction becomes almost automatic. The next step is even more powerful. Section 6 will reveal the nonverbal triggers and dominant signals that make her brain associate you with sexual security and excitement. These are the invisible codes that separate men who succeed from men who stay invisible. Now we move beyond words, because the real power lies in what you communicate without speaking. Women are wired to respond to subtle nonverbal signals that broadcast confidence, dominance, and sexual availability. Most men are completely blind to these cues. They think charm and compliments are enough, but the truth is, attraction is mostly subconscious. First, posture and presence. The way you carry yourself sends her messages before a word is spoken. Stand tall, shoulders back, chest open. Walk with purpose. Move with calm control. Every micro-adjustment signals stability and confidence. Women pick up on these cues instantly. They tell her your energy is grounded and dominant, which triggers attraction at a primal level. Slouching, fidgeting, or appearing uncertain broadcasts weakness and kills desire before it even starts. Eye contact is another silent weapon. A confident, steady gaze communicates interest, control, and self-assurance. But there's a rhythm to it. Holding her gaze slightly longer than normal creates tension. Breaking it with a subtle smile releases it. This micro-dance triggers emotional arousal in her brain without her conscious awareness. Avoiding eye contact or overdoing it destroys this effect. Touch, when done right, is magnetic. Subtle, purposeful contact signals, dominance and safety simultaneously. A gentle touch on the arm during a laugh, a brief hand on the back while guiding her through a doorway, or even light, playful contact during conversation builds sexual tension. The key is timing and intention. Random or desperate touch signals neediness. Calculated touch triggers desire. Next, the voice. Women are highly sensitive to tone, pace, and volume. Speak slower than normal, with a calm, measured tone. Emphasize key words lightly. This communicates control and authority. A man who talks too fast, too loud, or nervously triggers anxiety, not attraction. Your voice is a tool that conveys power without saying anything at all. Finally, spatial dominance. How you use space communicates status and confidence. Occupying more space, leaning in slightly, or moving fluidly around her subtly establishes your dominance. It's not aggressive, it's natural. She reads it on a subconscious level, associating your energy with safety, capability, and sexual presence. Men who shrink into corners or constantly defer lose this invisible battle before it even begins. Combine posture, eye contact, touch, voice, and spatial dominance, and you're speaking directly to her subconscious mind. She doesn't even realize why she's drawn to you. She just is. That is the invisible power most men never harness, which is why they struggle with women who are openly curious but never act on desire. Section 7 will tie everything together, revealing the final, psychologically charged move that turns her attraction into action, creating the same-day sexual connection most men think is impossible. Now, here's the culmination of everything you've learned, the psychological move that transforms curiosity and desire into action, often the same day you meet her. Most men never reach this point because they misunderstand timing, signals, and emotional escalation. They try to force desire or wait too long, and it dies before it begins. But when you understand the full sequence, it becomes almost automatic. It starts with emotional alignment. By now, you've created intrigue, tension, and excitement through conversation, micro-actions, and nonverbal dominance. Her brain is firing on high. Dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline. She's curious, stimulated, and subtly aroused. The final step is guiding that emotional energy toward physical closeness, without pressure, without overthinking, and without breaking the subtle rhythm you've built. Here's the method most men overlook. Instead of asking or convincing, you invite and lead. This is subtle, not aggressive. A gentle hand on her back, a confident shift closer, a playful whisper in her ear. These micro-actions signal your intentions without triggering resistance. Women respond to men who lead with calm confidence because it aligns with her subconscious desire for someone in control. Timing is everything. You escalate only when her signals are clear. She mirrors your movements, laughs openly at your jokes, maintains eye contact, and lightly touches you back. Every hesitation she shows is a cue to pause, not push. This controlled pacing creates anticipation, intensifies desire, and makes the eventual closeness feel like the natural, inevitable outcome of your interaction. Another key, verbal reinforcement without pressure. You don't need to state your intentions overtly. Subtle comments like, "I like spending time with you," or playful hints about wanting to see her later. Plant the idea while maintaining the sense of challenge. You're communicating desire without creating anxiety. Her mind begins to fill in the blanks, and that's where her imagination turns curiosity into urgent desire. The final layer is energy. From the moment you meet her to this point, your energy has been consistent, confident, and playful. This is what makes the final move feel safe and irresistible. Women respond more to energy than words. By projecting dominance, calmness, and playful challenge, you create an environment where she feels both excited and secure, perfect conditions for same-day connection. Most men fail because they underestimate her subconscious instincts, overthink their moves, or misread signals. But when you understand curiosity, tension, micro-actions, nonverbal dominance, and emotional pacing, desire becomes automatic. She's not just interested. She's drawn in ways that feel unstoppable. You're no longer guessing. You're orchestrating attraction at a level most men will never reach. The ultimate truth: women want to feel excited, safe, and desired. When you provide all three, the resistance drops. The same-day connection isn't magic, it's psychology in action. And once you internalize these principles, you can create desire naturally, repeatedly, and with a confidence most men only dream about.